Hello everybody and welcome to Bold, a Room Raccoons showcase series where we shine a light on independent hoteliers rewriting the rules of hospitality. I'm your host Nadia. Today we are joined by Arlette, a seasoned hotelier who began her journey in restaurants before taking on the well-known Hotel Truida. In 2024, she and her husband Pedro boldly reimagined the property, reopening it as a beachfront boutique hotel. From operating a receptionless hotel after 6 p.m. to using automated upsells for everything from parking to pet-friendly stays, Arlette has built a model that proves automation and personal hospitality can go hand in hand. Arlette, welcome to Bold. Let's kick it off. And why don't you just introduce your beachfront hotel to me a little bit and tell me what is so special about it, because the location certainly is. It's in Vlissingen, right? At the boulevard.
That's correct. Well, it's a small hotel. It has a very nice location. We do have 21 rooms and suites. What makes it very special is the location on the boulevard, but it's also the shipping traffic, which is very unique in our case. And I have told and read about it that it is also the only place in the whole world where the ships are passing by so close. So that makes it a very unique location. All those things in combination with the hotel, makes it a good place.
Absolutely. Yeah, I saw you have like those super beautiful balconies, right? Where you can then just see, and I didn't even imagine that there are ships passing by. That is quite special indeed. So, it was my understanding that you and your husband Pedro, you have taken over Hotel Truida in 2018, and then after years of operating it, you actually boldly just decided to completely rebrand it and make it something very different and very much your own. So, yeah, tell me about that.
Yes, we were already earlier on that location in 2006, and we came there to start a restaurant because we were asked by the owners who had the Hotel Truida at that time. We took that chance because we say, well, maybe one day we can take over the hotel. And it was like a sort of a mission from us. We started with the restaurant. We already had a restaurant, but on another location. And we started there in 2006, not knowing that it should take a lot of years till the moment came that we could take over the hotel. But that was the starting moment, and also that we were thinking about it for the time when we could take over the hotel. And that was in 2018. We have always found on that location, the building must be more nice, to be honest. In our opinion, there was also missing balconies, and that was not there. And also the name. We didn't like the name at all. Maybe years ago it was a good name, but not nowadays. And it's also not a good international name. So we have decided very early when we started with our restaurant, when we can take it over, then we will change everything, because there were so many things to be changed. So yeah, in our opinion, it was the only logical situation and decision.
I mean, it looks absolutely gorgeous. And I think it's quite a nice story that you already have for so many years, this vision of this place, right? I mean, you knew already that you're going to do something with that. So that is absolutely unique. And I think it's a great decision, because if you are at the boulevard in Vlissingen, indeed, you do have a lot of international guests. Maybe speaking of guests, like, have you noticed, because you are in this industry since quite a while in hospitality, have you noticed any kind of change of like how guests are behaving or what they're expecting?
Yes, I think a lot of people nowadays are very busy. There is a lot of stress. I think the more and more people like to have, when they have a holiday or a couple of days off, that they have a quiet environment in combination with a nice location, some luxury if possible. and if possible also some surprises. And what we have done, or especially me, when we have been somewhere and I have seen something special or whatever, I always write it down or make a picture of it to remember and maybe to use it later in my own hotel.
Yeah, I can completely relate to this. When I had my hotel also, whenever I went to other small boutique hotels, I even remember one specific thing. Like I went to a small boutique hotel and they made like this little leaf on the toilet paper and attached it with a pin, not only like the folding it nicely in a square, but have like this little leaf on there, like a real leaf. So I also started doing that, and it's just like the small things, but I'm pretty sure that other people are taking pictures then of that, right? And I think that is what it's all about.
Yeah.
And when you are talking about hotel software, like what were like things that you are really looking for, especially because your reception is receptionless after 6 p.m., right?
That's correct. For us, it's we have chosen for only working during the day and only be open during the day in the reception. That was because before we also had a restaurant and it was too much. And the time is changing. It is difficult with getting staff, etc. So we have decided when we reopen the hotel, we will do it with less staff as possible. So for us, it was a very logical choice just to choose for a day reception, because otherwise I need 2 shifts a day. And now I can have 1 shift. And if you choose for a reception in the day for check-in and self-check-in after 6, then it is a very important thing that you inform your guests. So you can do that by the documents with arrival information, just a couple of days before they come or a couple of hours before they arrive when they have a late booking. So when you really inform the guests very well, then nothing can go wrong.
Yeah. So I also had that. Like first my reception was until 11 p.m. and then I also changed it until 6 because for the same reason, right? Like often you have like a staff member sitting there waiting for one guest, right? Whereby it's actually not needed. And I figured that my guests didn't even mind, right? I mean, you always want to have the combination between like personal contact and welcoming them. And I made it like the whole thing was walking with them to the suites and showing them everything. But it's not always needed, right? I mean, offering the possibility for them to check in later by themselves, as long as the expectation are managed. So, yeah, many hoteliers are a little bit afraid of a receptionless hotel, or maybe only in the evenings. But I think also there the guests changed a bit, right? So I think guests are more used to checking in by themselves. And then, you welcome them then the next morning at the breakfast.
A lot of guests don't care. That's correct. Yeah. That's also what we found out.
And then you're checking online, you have like the upsell feature in there, but you're not only using that for extra revenue, which you're doing great. Like I saw like some breakfast and some really cool add-ons that you're selling in advance. But you're also using it to ask, like, for instance, the breakfast time, right? So that is also helping you and the guest, obviously, to have a better experience because you probably can plan better when the guests are arriving or when you can expect them for the breakfast. But for the guests, it's also really nice. I think it's a great idea that you're doing that. How did that come? Like, when did you get that idea?
Yeah, it grows, that idea. When we decided to rebuild everything in the hotel, we have also made the decision to give up our restaurant, and we create instead of that 2 rooms. Then you don't have a restaurant anymore, but we still wanted to serve breakfast. And then you have no space anymore for breakfast. So then you must think about it. How can you do it? The best solution there is, in our opinion, it was to have room service because there was no other option. But you must do it in a way that it is as comfortable as possible. So we choose for 3 different kinds of breakfast that they could choose. Also, we choose for not too high prices because normally room service is a higher price. So that is also one thing where we have think about. And also the times, because you have guests who want to have it early, but you also have guests who really like it to have room service, because then they can stay a little bit longer in their bed. So we have made the decision that we have possibilities for breakfast from half-hour times. So it starts from 7:30 till 8, and the latest possibility is between 11 and 11:30. So for your own schedule, it is good that they reserve it in advance. And then also the logistic thing you must think about, because that was also a thing, because we have 4 floors. And how do you get it there? And what if all the 20 rooms maybe choose the same time? It can happen. So that is also a logistic thing. And we serve it on a big trolleys. And on that trolley, we have a basket, and there we do everything in it. And also on special ways, so that you can surprise the guests a little bit. So the guests are very excited about it. Also guests who in advance said, well, I don't know if it's something for me, because we prefer
the restaurant buffet.
Restaurant or whatever. But then afterwards they came and say, well, it's really surprising and it's so good and nice. So
it's something special, right? It's something that makes you and their experience, they're unique. And I mean, if you're sitting on one of those balconies, I mean, I can only imagine having there like a nice coffee and breakfast is great. So what kind of tips can you give other hoteliers who might think about fulfilling their dream and, purchasing or taking over a hotel, maybe building an own hotel, in terms of automation or what guests remember the most? Or what do you think is the most important thing that a hotelier should have or should, remember?
I can only speak for myself, but in our case, it is also, I think it is very good that you turn your dream into a plan. So don't be afraid, and start with thinking about how do you want to do, and is that possible, and talk with other people or read about it or look on the internet to other hotels or for inspiration or whatever. Also, if it is something new and you don't know if it is working, that was also for us by the breakfast, because I really have looked for a lot of inspiration for possibilities, what we could do. But to be honest, there I didn't find it. But what I did find is some pieces of a puzzle. And that pieces you can use to get inspiration for finally, a plan or concept.
I always find it's not only a hotel, it's not only a building, right? And it's not only how it looks like, it's also the people. For me, it was when I took it over, it was not in a great shape, let's put it like that. And I didn't have money to renovate everything, right? So, but then you have to be a little bit more creative, and people see that you put in effort, right? That you are trying to really make their stay something special, and then they are also more forgiving, right? So I think that's also important. You are a great role model of this, right? You had a space or you have a challenge, and you just think about a way creatively how to offer a great service, offer an experience, and your guests like it, and that is what it's all about, right?
That's correct. When we started the hotel when it was still Truida, we have done that for 5-6 years. It was also in a rental period, so we couldn't rebuild it and rebrand it at that time. And it also needed to be changed. But we have also done that 5 or 6 years. You have to do it with what you have. And we didn't have the possibilities to change a lot of things. And there are really very small things you can do also with less money. I think that is also very important. And that you put a soul in your hotel. the personality, friendly staff. We had a lot of old things in the previous period, but we had a very friendly staff, and it was personal, and that in combination with a good location, that makes that still
Magic.
people want to come. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and I think maybe to finish it off as well, I mean, obviously, the future of Beachfront Hotel looks just really bright, and you just rebranded it, of course. But I think also if you have a hotel that even is fully receptionless, even there you can bring in this and put in the soul. I think that is really nice how your wording is about that, because also there are like small little details or personal touches in a room, even though if you haven't been there physically to welcome them, that brings us a long way, right? It's about creativity and just thinking about what does the guest actually really want and expect, and making a whole concept that correlates to that. And I think, yeah, you have done super well. And yeah, I just wanted to thank you for your time and sharing this all with me.